Today we're gonna start to talk about how to break away, how to some eitzes of how to do tshuva, how to possibly clean ourselves from this very dangerous yetzer hara that a person has. The first thing the person needs to know is that a person can always do tshuva. There's no possibility for anybody to not do tshuva, even though the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos says that certain Rishoyim don't have the ability, or not that they don't have the ability, that it's not put in their yad to do tshuva. Yeah, Yerobim ben Nevat, that the Mishnah says that it's not in his hands to do tshuva. It doesn't mean that he doesn't have the ability to do tshuva. Haraya, the Gemara in Sanhedrin says that Hashem came to Yerobim ben Nevat to tell him to do tshuva. It's just that it's very hard when a person is so deep in chait. It's very, very hard to do tshuva, and the person needs to really, really put in a lot of effort. But it's never impossible. It's never impossible to do tshuva. Yeah. So tshuva is always possible. And neshamas are pure. And we just have garbage put on top of it, unfortunately, and we got to clear away that garbage. L'maaseh, to go what we call cold turkey, to go, to break away completely. I'm never going to do this ever again. Is impossible, almost impossible. Any person who knows, who constantly does something, somebody who wants to quit smoking and just stop completely without doing anything, it's extremely, extremely difficult. Somebody who has a different problem, a drug problem, an alcohol problem, it's command impossible.
But there
are the people? It says in general that a person has to go kitzoni to the other direction, but what that means in a practical sense doesn't always mean just totally stop. Sometimes it's not practical to totally stop. It's just not. It's not possible. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not. Yeah, a person who, for example, has a drinking or a smoking problem and he wants to quit. So part of the ways of doing that could be, not going into the store to buy anymore. Yeah, but even that's not going to be 100% possible, because he might always be in places where it's just available. Yeah. Or he has some kind of lock on his credit card that won't let him buy from certain stores. I don't know. We can make up all kinds of different things that a person can forcefully put themselves in a place where they just can't have it anymore. But in our situation, for the most part, that's very, very difficult. Yeah, I'll just take a second again to mention that this is a very good reason that a person needs to have filters on their various devices where they can get access to all kinds of things that you're not supposed to look at, because that is going to be it's extremely, extremely difficult to break away from something like this that a person in general can see all the time. If you have it at the click of a button, then you have it at the click of a button. If it's so easy, so then you will look at it all the time. So a person certainly needs to do his best to keep away from these things and put himself in a situation where he cannot see it, where it's not possible to look. That's not going to help all the people on the street. That's not going to help if you need to go from place to place, per se. But who says that I have to walk in this area at this time? Who says? Sometimes you don't have a choice, but a lot of times we do have choices. A lot of times we can. If you're b'shas ma'aseh, it's very, very difficult. But who says you have to be there? Who says you have to go to those places? Who says you have to see those things? It's not. A person doesn't have to put himself in that matzav, and that's the best way of dealing with most of these issues. Is just don't go there in the first place. Block yourself. Prevent yourself from doing it, because it's normal to have this yetzer hara, like we mentioned many times before. It's very normal. So why put yourself into that makom, in a makom sakana? L'maaseh, getting back to our discussion, going without, I'm totally stopping. I'm not. That's very, very difficult. It's very difficult. So what can a person do? The first thing a person can do is, first of all, sit down and think about it. Yeah, that's the first step. The first step to dealing with a problem is recognizing you have the problem. That's one of the biggest steps. Yeah, I just talking with somebody recently about somebody that he knows who has a drug addiction. Yeah, he has an addiction to a certain type of drug, and I asked this person, has this person ever been to therapy? The one I was talking, has he ever been to therapy? So he said no. And he went on to explain to me that the person we were talking about, obviously he knew them well. He knew this person well enough to be able to answer that question. And he said no. He really thinks what he's doing is right. He has like a whole mahalach why what he's doing is like a great thing. So once you have a mahalach, once you think what you're doing is right, so then we can't help you anymore. You have to come to the realization first that this is not okay. Once you come to that realization, now we can stop. And we can think and we can try to plan. What can we do to fix this? What can we do to work on this? So the first suggestion here is to create short-term goals. To create a mareches where you're going to be careful for a certain point of time in the day. And in order to make this really a good suggestion, it has to be, first of all, very easy to be successful in it. But it still has to be like somewhat a little bit challenging. For example, if a person's going to say, okay, during the hours of 10:30 in the morning, 10:30 till 12:45 in the morning, I'm going to be careful. So that's pretty easy because you're going to be in yeshiva during those times anyway, and you never really had a problem during those times anyway. So like, have you done anything? So you can make it a little bit. First of all, maybe I won't make it only on yeshiva days. I'll make it on every day. Well, there are some days I'm on the street during that time. Okay, everybody can work out for themselves. My walk from yeshiva to my home. That's the time that I'm working on. 1 10-minute span of my day. That's where I'm working on it. Yeah, that 10 minutes is my time that I'm working on. I'm going to work on it, and I'm going to make a plan. What am I going to do during those 10 minutes? During those 10 minutes of my walk, I'm going to listen to music. I'm going to keep my head down, and before I walk out, I'm going to think about that. This is what I'm doing. This is where one of the places where the point is that you need to win a little bit. You need to create a situation where you're winning, where you're beating the Yetzer Hara. Even if it's an easy Yetzer Hara, an easier Yetzer Hara, you're still winning. I won here. And it starts very, very small, very little. We don't try with the hardest times. The hardest times of the day don't start with those days, those times. Little victories make a big deal. We might not think so. Yeah, my person might come and say, yeah, come on. Yeah, so okay. So I was very good when I was walking for those 10 minutes. Yeah, but as soon as I got home, okay, you know what? We have to start somewhere. We have to start with little things. And if we don't start with little things, then we're not gonna finish either. We're not gonna get anywhere. Little victories make a big difference. A lot of doing tshuva, a lot of changing oneself over is psychological. A lot of it is the feeling that I can or cannot do it. And wherever you think you are, that's where you are. If a person thinks he's in a place where I can do it, then he can. And if a person thinks that he's in a place that he can't do it, then in a chanami, he's not going to be able to. That is really the main psychological factor in beating the Yetzer Hara, really in anything. Look, we need to know, be honest with yourself. Makir es makoimo. You need to understand where you are. Where am I holding? And I can't ask for myself things that I just can't do. But to say that one day I won't be able to do it, to make a form of a plan where I'm going to start a little bit at a time to be careful over here, be careful over there, and start winning and getting to a mindset of I really can do this. It's very hard, but I really can. Then you already are a winner. That's what a HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to see you work. He wants to see, and he will give you success. He'll help you see success. As long as you stay positive, as long as you come with that perspective of I can do this. If a person comes from that perspective, then he'll be able to. And a person can always start. You can always start fresh. And you can always convince yourself that you can. And there's no really, everybody can. And there's stories in the Gemara about people who said that they couldn't do it, yeah? Acher, it says, Elisha ben Avuya, everybody can do tshuva, even me, except for me. Nobody can, and that's what destroyed him. That is the Nakuda that destroyed him, because he really thought, I don't have the ability to do tshuva. Yeah, here the Bosco, whatever. No, the irony of it, is that Elazar ben Dardai, Rabbi Elazar ben Dardai, the Gemara calls. The one that how did he do tshuva? What was the push that got him to do tshuva? He went to the left. The fact that this lady said to him, "You can't do tshuva." The fact that she said to him, "You can't do tshuva," that's what pushed him. The Maise, it's a bit ironic, because it was at that point that he realized how low he had sunk, and that's what in I think they call it in technical terms, or in terms of therapy, they call it hitting rock bottom. A lot of times a person can't do tshuva because he doesn't realize how low he's gone. He doesn't realize how bad things have gotten for him. Only when a person hits rock bottom, when he realizes how terrible he is, that is when a person can fix himself. But if a person really even never fixes himself, so sometimes that's what it comes from. Sometimes it comes from knowing that I really am good and I really can do better. And sometimes it comes from a person saying, I am so horrible. I'm so horrible. Now, a person it's dangerous to reach that point, because not everybody bounces when they hit the bottom. Yeah, not everybody does that bounce. Some people just stay there.
It's like the Galgal, that more bottom than this you just cannot be, so you have to go up.
Yeah, or you just end up staying at the bottom. Yeah, there are a lot of people out there that you hear stories about how they hit rock bottom and they were able to come back up. But the stories you don't hear is the people who hit rock bottom and then commit suicide. Yeah, those are the stories you don't hear. Yeah, those are the stories of the people who once they hit rock bottom, they know exactly how low they are, and therefore they have no more reason to live. And this is not the proper mahalach. Well, let's wait till he hits rock bottom. That's not a great mahalach, because although it does happen that people who hit rock bottom do bounce back up, it doesn't happen to everybody. Yeah, and even if they do, sometimes they don't really jump back up that much higher. So, and they're in danger of falling back again. That's not a mahalach. The better. So he was miyuchad. He was miyuchad. He hit rock bottom and he was able to jump back up. But even that was a very short span of time. He didn't live very long after that. And there are other stories in Chazal. The nephew of Yossi ben Yoezer, who also did tshuva, and he killed himself. It says that he gave himself arba mitzvahs bezdin, because he felt that he deserved it, whatever that means. Lamaisa, he was not alive within a very short time after he decided to do tshuva. So it's not exactly the greatest mahalach to do that. The better, much more positive mahalach is to be positive. You have a holy neshamah inside of you, and that holy neshama never gets tainted just because you put garbage on it. You never lose that holy neshama, the purity of that neshama, just because you throw garbage on it. We just have to clear the garbage away. L'maisa, just being on the path, just being on the derech, should give you chizuk. Like we mentioned here before, by trying to fix what you've done wrong with your eyes, that's called eye therapy. Yeah, you're giving therapy to your eyes. You're trying to not look is fixing what you did look at. A few more eitzes that we just want to talk about today. On the same derech, we're talking about being positive. A very good eitzah to building yourself up in this area is by feeling good about your Yiddishkeit in other areas. A person who he knows that he has a problem with Shmir Seinayim and the things that come out from Shmir Seinayim also, so he might feel all the time very, very low. He might feel very discouraged, very, very down. And that's really just a tool of the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara wants him to feel that way, so he'll do more Averos. So what we need to do is we need to work on the opposite, and you can work on the opposite in many ways. Being happy, being excited about Yiddishkeit in other areas. You're doing well in a different area. I'm really great in Kibbut Av V'Eim. My Kriya Shema is very good. I'm very makbid in Kriya Shema Lamita. I'm very makbid on Asher Yotzer. I work very hard to get to davening on time, to Seder on time. Other areas of your Avodas Hashem, I'm learning well. Other areas of your Avodas Hashem which are going well, be mechazik. Be mechazik those and take chizuk from that. The Yetzer Hara wants you to feel terrible. He wants you to feel horrible. Don't let him. You should feel good. Feel good about all the other areas in Yiddishkeit that you're doing well in. The warmth, the excitement that comes from a beautiful tefillah, whether it be here in Karlibach, where it's very warm and exciting on a Friday night or Shabbos day, or in any other area of your Avodas Hashem that you're succeeding in. Be happy. Be excited about those things. Keep positive. The more a person does that, the easier it will be for him when it comes to the harder things. And then we said, take it a little step. The harder things are you do a little step. He'll feel good about himself, and it'll give him koyach. It will give him koyach to be successful in those areas too. Learning Musar is a very, very important thing. It's extremely important. People, a lot of times, guys don't want to hear it. They're not interested. There are different Musar Svarim out there, and every person has to find the Musar Sefer that they connect to, that they feel talks to them, that they feel that they're, this gives me more chizuk in my avodas Hashem. If a person is learning a particular Musar Sefer and it's just like they're coming out of it either with not really very much, or sometimes a negative attitude, or they feel like it can be, there can be very different extremes in this area. Some people might say, "Oh, this is a little bit too much fluff for me." I'm like, I don't feel like there's anything really here. Some people might say, "This is a little bit too hard for me. It's a little bit too in your face. I can't handle that." Some people might say, I need something a little bit more practical. Some people might say, I need something a little bit more theoretical, more hashkafadik. Everybody's got to find the sefer that talks to them. And most of the time, you're putting an effort. It shouldn't take too long to find that sefer. It really shouldn't, because the Kodesh Baruch Hu knows if you really want to do this, the Kodesh Baruch Hu will send you siyata d'shmaya to find it, to find the kedusha, to find the sefer that speaks to you. I remember when I was a bacher and I was having trouble with something, and I went to one of the rabbanim in the yeshiva that I was in, and he suggested learning why don't you learn this Musar Sefer? Okay, so I started reading it, started learning it, and I'm like, this is so not for me. Yeah, this is not the sefer for me, and that was it. Yeah, I don't know how I got through whatever that particular difficulty was, but I knew this sefer wasn't for me, so I'll learn a different sefer, right? Yeah, not every sefer is for every person. There are a lot of wonderful svarim out there, though. There are a lot of wonderful svarim, and not every one is for every person. L'maisa, whatever you're doing, you should do it every day. You do it every day. There has to be a certain consistency. Every day. Every day doesn't mean that it has to be a half hour every day. It doesn't have to be 20 minutes every day. It doesn't have to be 10 minutes every day. But if we're going to be learning something that is going to help us build our lives up, which is really what Musar is supposed to do, it's supposed to make me feel I have a direction in life, and it should make me feel that I'm accomplishing and that I'm doing good and I'm feeling good about myself, which whatever safer that is. It should be done all the time. A person who decides to do it only whenever we have yeshiva, it's not good enough. One of the biggest things is that there are 7 days in the week. Yeah, I was just talking with somebody the other day who has students, and their students are they have 4 days a week. That's it, only 4 days a week. They're off Shabbos, Friday, Shabbos, Sunday. They only have 4 days, and even on Thursday is only really a half a day. And Monday is also only half a day. So, they have like Monday afternoon to Thursday morning, maybe, yeah? And then if they don't really have Thursday afternoon, so they don't show up on Thursday anyway, so it's really only Monday afternoon to Wednesday. Like, do you really think you're going to accomplish anything if that's all the time that you're putting in? Kadosh Baruch Hu created 7 days. It doesn't have to be very long, but it has to be consistent. It has to be, when you're doing something 7 days, that means it's really part of your life. That's what it really means. Daf Yomi is an amazing thing because Daf Yomi is 7 days a week, every single day of your life. That's what it is. It's Tisha B'Av, it's Yom Kippur. If you're a person, is a person who's an Avelus and he can't learn, then he has a week of Daf Yomi that he needs to make up. Daf Yomi doesn't stop for anybody. It doesn't stop. So if a person, and you see by Daf Yomi Yid, he lives with his Daf Yomi. That's the way it is. He lives with his Daf Yomi. Now, some people do Daf Yomi on the side. Some people, this is my main limit. I do Daf Yomi on the side, But it's still, even those people, the consistency of it makes them that they have to be very, very on top of it. Now, for Daf Yomi, a person who has to make a decision, I want to be a part of Daf Yomi. That's the decision that he needs to make. And once he makes that decision, so then he just has to keep up with it because it's not in his hands anymore. When it comes to learning Musar or to learning anything else 7 days a week where the whole world isn't doing it together, it's you are the one who's deciding to do it. So it's more than just the decision to keep up with it. You also have to hold on to that because there's nobody else there that's pushing you. There's nobody else there that's telling you have to keep doing it. The Ma'aseh, that's what a person needs to do with his Musar, because with the Musar, again, it's a Musar that talks to you. It's a Musar that you feel connected to and has to be done every day. And it also included in this, and I think we'll stop with this last point, is, and this is very, very hard. If a person can do this, halavai, is to do cheshbon and nefesh. Cheshbon and nefesh is Chazal already told us, is mamish the key to overcoming any difficulty. Yeah, it's the key to overcoming any difficulty. Not to say that it happens right away, but basically doing cheshbon and nefesh means that I'm
see every day the truth in your face.
I'm looking at myself. Yeah, I'm looking at myself, and I'm not. It's very easy to consistently do something wrong if I don't have to look at myself in the face every single day. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I can just do it, okay, and you kind of just like push it under the rug. If I have to really face myself every day, so that makes it a lot harder to run away from my problem. And the truth of the matter is that the cheshbon nefesh doesn't have to be to another person. You don't have to be embarrassed in front of somebody else to do this. You're just doing it with yourself. And I would even recommend doing it in writing, putting it on paper. It makes it much more real. Makes it much, much more real. Obviously, on days you can write, Shabbos and Yom Tov, but you can't write. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it on those days as well. Cheshbon nefesh, halavai, everybody should do it. If you want to become miyuchad in something, if you want something that you're gonna do that there's almost nobody else in the world that does, this could be your thing. If you're interested in being somewhat more special than everybody else in the world, come on. I'm not talking about goyim, yeah. This is something that is extremely, extremely rare and difficult, and it's something that a person has the ability to do. And it's one of the hardest things in the world to do is to look yourself in the face. L'maisa, these are just suggestions. And again, all of them have to be kept in a very positive way because ultimately, The Yetzer Hara wants you to feel bad. He wants you to feel like you're depressed, you're out of it, and therefore, come, let's get a little bit of enjoyment. Come, let's look at this thing. Come, let's go to this website. Come, let's go out to park over here and do whatever they do here on Friday nights. Yeah? Let's do all those things because it makes me feel good for a few seconds here and there. It makes me feel excited. All of those things come because I really feel like I'm lacking something very big. And I need these small little pleasures to fill it in. And it's a rachmanos. Because each and every one of us have so much greater potential. And so we can be great. We can be unbelievable. And we sell ourselves short. And we go after these small little pleasures because we're feeling down. We're feeling out of it. But each one of us has the ability to overcome it and to know that there are much, much bigger and more pleasurable things in life than these things. For certainly when it comes to really, really terrible things on the internet or things like that, but even just on the street, which are not on the same madrega, but they're low. Why do I need that? I don't need that. I'm a much better person than that. I'm a bigger person than that. So see some of the eights: stay positive, cheshbon nefesh, learn musar, consistency. All of these things are kedai. Any one of them, I would say it would be kedai. Pick one. Pick one thing to do. Pick 10 minutes out of your day when you're walking here or there. I think that'll be the best suggestion for today. We'll end off with that today. And anybody who's listening to the recording also. 10 minutes out of your day where you're going someplace or where you have somewhat of a nisayon during those 10 minutes of the day, then I'm going to work hard on those 10 minutes of the day not to look. And if it's too hard, 10 minutes, then choose 5 minutes. Every day, these 5 minutes, these 10 minutes, I'm going to focus on. And you know what might happen? What might happen is you might actually, wow, I did great. And what else might happen is, wow, I totally forgot about those 5 minutes. I totally forgot. Just because you forgot doesn't mean the next day you shouldn't do it. And even if you forget 2 days, doesn't mean the day after that you shouldn't do it. Small victories. Let's win. Let's beat the Yetzer Hara in a few places, and we'll see. You're going to feel good about it.
Thank you for listening. To hear more shurim like this one, go to jfoundations.com. If you would like to support us or sponsor an episode, go to jfoundations.com/support.